Channel 3 Eyewitness News early today. Make sure you catch us online at WRCBTV.com and on all forms of social media as well. And on your television, Channel 3 Eyewitness News Today starts right now.
With coverage you can count on, this is Channel 3 Eyewitness News Today in HD.
The cold weather is approaching fast, but for some it's hard to escape it. More on what local shelters are doing and what you can do to help those in need this winter season.
And it's been nearly 2 weeks since the deadly tornadoes that ripped through the Tennessee Valley, but the cleanup is far from over. See what community members are doing to make the process a bit easier.
At 5 o'clock, let us say good morning, Tennessee Valley. We are so glad you're tuned in to Channel 3 Eyewitness News Today. I'm Latrice Curry.
And I'm John Martin. Today is Friday, December 9th, 2016. We'll check in with David Carnes for a look at today's forecast in just a minute. But first, social media. Obviously a big part of our lives this day and age. We use it for pretty much everything, but have you ever thought about your canine friends using it? Well, one pup isn't just using it for fun. She's using it as part of her job to keep you safe. That story and that adorable face coming up in just a little bit.
What's amazing is that's a selfie.
It is. Remarkable.
Okay.
That's
cold outside. Make sure the pets are taken care of this morning. My goodness, let them inside. Let them sleep under the covers in the bed with you. Snuggle up with them.
If you're cold, they're cold.
Yes. Absolutely. Outside we go, and we'll show you how cold it is indeed. 27 Chattanooga, basically upper teens, low 20s around the Tennessee Valley and surrounding areas, 24 Murphy and 28 in Dalton. There are a few readings up on the plateau that are down into the teens. Our day planner showing it's staying cold right through the day. We'll struggle to get out of the 30s. I think we may touch 40 in Chattanooga. Most folks will be in the mid to upper 30s through the afternoon. And then the temperature is going to drop rapidly again when the sun goes down, all the way down to 28 already by 9 p.m. We'll keep going back into the low to mid 20s by tomorrow morning. We'll have all the details in your weekend forecast. Maybe a little rain to start next week, another Arctic blast next week, all kinds of stuff going on. We'll have the details in just a moment. Plus, with all the recent rain, how does our drought situation look now? We'll tell you.
All right. Thanks, David. Well, topping your news this morning, the Hamilton County Board of Education met Thursday night and focused on new school construction and how to fix low-performing schools.
Now, according to our news partners at the Times Free Press, the Woodmore bus crash and the ongoing discussions on whether or not Red Bank and Signal Mountain will be forming their own districts were not discussed. Now, 5 of the county's schools will be taken over by the state if test scores do not improve this school year. While these schools have received grant money and extra support, officials say there has been little, if any, progress.
Well, giving the Eastridge High School's athletic fields to the city of Eastridge was discussed. The board will vote on the next week on that, and school buildings needing repairs or even a new facility were also brought up. Those schools include Chattanooga School for the Liberal Arts and Harrison Elementary.
A local food pantry was suspended from the food bank program. Now it's struggling to stock its shelves. The Chattanooga Area Food Bank said the Rhea County nonprofit We Care violated its contract by selling food boxes. But the nonprofit claims it was a misunderstanding about contributions.
Contribute to go towards the cost involved with getting the food here, but there's never been the selling of food here.
The We Care Food Pantry remains open thanks to community donors. The Chattanooga Area Food Bank says it's committed to feeding affected families and continues supplying food with its mobile food pantry. The next distribution will be held December the 20th.
Well, the Salvation Army and the Chattanooga Community Kitchen will open their overnight shelters again tonight. They opened last night due to the below freezing temperatures. A crowd was waiting to enter the shelter when the doors opened last night. The overnight shelter on Macaulay Avenue has been open only a handful of times so far this season. We spoke to the shelter's youngest volunteer who tells us the reason she's helping.
I'm here because I wanted to help the people that do not have homes, and so they could be warm and have a place to sleep.
Well, the Salvation Army could use more volunteers and donations to keep the shelter going. If you'd like to help, just call the number on your screen. You can also take donations like coffee, toiletries, and blankets to their location on Macaulay Avenue. Doors open tonight at 7.
In McMinn County, the Athens area still has a lot to clean up after last week's tornado, and now the Red Cross and other organizations have opened a one-stop shop for people impacted by the storm. The Multi-Agency Resource Center will be open today through Sunday at American Bedding on Dennis Street in Athens. They can help residents make recovery plans, help with paperwork, and give them assistance. They're also providing clothes, kitchenware, and many other items. Those affected by the storms will need to show proof of residency to be eligible for assistance. And on Saturday, Keep McMinn Beautiful volunteers will be helping with the cleanup effort. If you want to help with the efforts, head to the Athens Municipal Building on Jackson Street at 9 o'clock Saturday morning. Be sure to take work gloves and wear sturdy shoes. Organizers expect it to wrap up around noon.
Well, several organizations and businesses in Polk County are helping tornado victims in their community. The Benton IGA and the Old Sawmill Market are just two of the companies sponsoring a two-night benefit concert. At least 5 bands will play tonight and Saturday at Dumpy's Bar in Benton. All you need to do is pay a few dollars at the door or bring canned foods to donate. All the proceeds will be used to help towards victims get back on track.
People lost their homes, they don't have nowhere to stay, lost lives, and we just wanted to get together and do a benefit, help the people raise some money for food or money just to do what they need to do.
Well, tonight's concert starts at 7, Saturdays at 3. For more information about how you can help and a full list of the organizations, just visit our website. And wherever you're going this weekend, whatever you're going to do, it's going to be cold, so wrap up and bundle up.
And my goodness, I had my coat on and walked outside. I'm like, I'm really warm. And then I noticed I have no gloves on. And my hands just started to crystallize instantly. It was amazing. No, it's maybe not that cold, but it is cold. You want to bundle up, take care of the pets, take care of everything you need to. Real quick, a little bit of good news with our drought monitor. Now, looking at that map, you're not thinking, well, that's good news.
Right.
Believe it or not, the drought conditions have receded a bit. Exceptional drought status was over our entire area. That's the worst drought status possible. That has receded down into parts of North Georgia still, but still, as you can see, we have severe to extreme drought conditions around the area still. 15.56 inches below our average rainfall for the year. And currently outside, back to the cold, 27, but it feels like 17 with winds out of the north-northwest at 10 miles per hour. As we move through the day, we're going to have highs only reaching the upper 30s, right around 40 degrees with mostly sunny skies. The high probably won't get past 31 up on the Cumberland Plateau, and then back into the teens and 20s again tonight. So we'll have a complete weekend forecast coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, thanks, David. Well, you know what? In this day and age, we get our news and information from all sorts of sources, even from the Twitter pages of law enforcement agencies.
So that gives us the human officer perspective, but what about the canine officer perspective? Well, that's where canine officer Kami comes in. The 5-year-old Labrador Retriever is now on Twitter. Now, she served in the U.S. Marine Corps and now works as a bomb dog for the Chattanooga Police Department. Her job can be difficult at times, but she's ready to take on the added responsibility of social media. You can follow her at the Twitter handle on your screen.
John, you have to make sure to follow Kami.
I will.
I've already followed her.
If she follows me back, I'll have her and my mom, and that'll be really exciting. 5:08 coming up on Eyewitness News today. The pro boxing scene continues to expand in Chattanooga.
Local product Roger the Hitman Hilly is helping set the tone. Hilly was a knockout in his pro debut. Paul Shaheen and Joel Jelnick have the highlights coming up in sports.
with coverage you can count on. This is Channel 3 Eyewitness News Today in HD.
Welcome back. A second officer has died following a shootout with a suspect in Georgia. 25-year-old Jody Smith succumbed to his injuries Thursday night, just hours after law enforcement officials announced the manhunt for the killer was over. On Wednesday, Smith responded to a domestic disturbance call as backup to America's police officer Nicholas Smart. Officer Smart died in a gun battle with that suspect. On Thursday, authorities found the alleged gunman dead from what appears to be a self-inflicted gunshot wound.
Former NASA astronaut and U.S. Senator John Glenn died Thursday. Glenn died at a hospital in Columbus, Ohio, where he'd been hospitalized for more than a week. In 1962, Glenn became the first American to orbit the Earth. He returned to space in 1998 at the age of 77 aboard Space Shuttle Discovery. Glenn served as the Democratic senator from Ohio for 24 years. He was 95.
The FBI and Chattanooga Police Department need your help identifying an armed robber. It happened last month at the First Citizens Bank on Gun Barrel Road. Officials say this man went into the bank brandishing a large silver and black semi-automatic handgun. He was wearing a surgical mask around his neck. Witnesses saw him get into a gray four-door Acura driven by a woman wearing a red baseball cap. If you know who he is, you're asked to call authorities.
Well, the 100-year-old textile mill that caught fire in July will soon be turned into an apartment complex. Chattanooga City Council members approved a tax break for the standard Coosa Thatcher redevelopment. On Tuesday, the future affordable apartment complex will have 170 units. The summer fire destroyed about 16,000 square feet of the existing site. The developer for the complex now has to propose the pilot agreement to the Hamilton County Commission. The standard Coosa Lost project is expected to cost about $57 million.
A Tennessee congressman introduced a bill that would require students to wear seatbelts on buses. U.S. Representative Steve Cohen introduced the Belts Act, which would create federal grants to purchase new school buses. Now, those buses would have lap and shoulder seat belts, and under the bill, employers would be required to do background checks before hiring school bus drivers. Well, the time is now 5:14. Let's check your sports headlines with Paul Shaheen.
The boxing minds that make up this city made their minds up. A collective conscious effort to make pro boxing relevant again in the scenic city. Last night was yet another example as Roger the Hitman Hilly made his pro debut in downtown Chattanooga. Hilly, fighting out of the YCAP camp, is a story of redemption. He traded in the street life, became a two-time amateur world ringside champion before turning pro. Hilly, a lightweight, fighting Ronnie Watson out of North Carolina, the convention center, and it did not take long for the Hitman to finish it. A brutal left hook, 119 seconds in, it was over. Here's another look. We slow it down. I said it was brutal. For the post-fight reaction, as Hilly is 1-0, Jill Jelnick in the studio.
Paul, on top of winning his first professional fight with a knockout, it was even more meaningful for the 22-year-old because it was in front of his hometown. As soon as he climbed out of the ring, he was mobbed immediately by family and friends, cheering and celebrating his first pro victory. And when I finally got the chance to ask him if he knew he knocked out his opponent, he said this.
I didn't actually. I threw a hard hook, and I looked up, and he was down, and I felt incredible. This is an extremely great feeling. Right here in the city of Chattanooga, I have the whole community behind me. It's unbelievable. It tells me that I can compete with the best at the professional level. So the sky's the limit.
The Hitman tells us he will now take a break for the holidays and then get back to work in January, starting preparation for 2 fights, including one in May, right back here in Chattanooga. In the studio, Jill Jelnick, Channel 3 Eyewitness Sports.
Thanks, Jill. Roger the Hitman Hilly, DeMarcus Rogers, and the Blue Chip, Ryan Martin. Those are 3 names to know all Chattanooga pro boxers. Hey, the quarters were inserted last week when Texas fired Charlie Strong. Around and around it spins. The next stop on the coaching carousel could now include Alabama. USA Today reported it first yesterday that Alabama offensive coordinator Lane Kiffin interviewed for and has been offered the Houston job. Houston, as of last night, did not confirm that. Nick Saban was asked about it. To sum up his response, Saban does not deal with hypotheticals. Didn't you know that? Sure you did. That's it for sports. Always more online and inside our app. You made it. It's Friday. Enjoy the day.
NBA legend Michael Jordan scored a big win in China.
Yes, China's highest court ruled in his favor in a years-long trademark case. A Chinese sportswear company has been using a name like his, a logo similar to Air Jordan and his number 23. China's Supreme People's Court overturned 2 rulings by lower courts that went against Jordan. Pretty interesting. He went to court in China and won. So.
He won.
Yeah.
Michael Jordan.
Coming up next at Eyewitness News today, David will be here with a look at your weekend forecast.
Plus, if you're struggling to get that perfect Christmas family photo or with friends, we'll have just a trick that makes that perfect picture every time. I'll let you know what that is coming up.
Welcome back to Channel 3 Eyewitness News today. Oh, it's cold. Look at this, 27 degrees. And that's in downtown Chattanooga, but it feels like 17. Winds out of the north-northwest at 10 miles per hour, making it bitterly cold. The average high this time of the year, that's the line that you see going across your screen, average high is 53 degrees. We are way below that this afternoon. We'll have a high of only 40. Most of you won't even get out of the 30s today. And then we'll start to warm back up over the weekend. Mornings are going to stay bitterly cold, but we'll warm back up to 45 on Saturday, 51 on Sunday, 55 on Monday. And as you can see over the weekend into next week, we'll hover right around average, and then another big Arctic blast moves in toward the middle and end of next week. So more on that in a moment. Your headline showing cold, sunny weather today and Saturday, and then we're going to warm with clouds building on Sunday, back into the low 50s on Sunday afternoon, with rain moving in with another front on Monday morning. Again, nice and bitterly cold today with that wind chill really kicking in. It's 19 degrees in Altamont, 24 Cleveland, 27 in Dalton, Murphy at 25, and with that breeze out of the northwest, you could lop off about 5 to 10 degrees of each of these temperatures, and that's what it will actually feel like. Throughout the day today, we'll have winds blowing out of the north at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Satellite and radar showing snow well to our north, even some winter weather advisories and warnings in effect for parts of Pennsylvania and New York. But for us, it's just cold and dry. Dew points in the teens. Extremely dry air with the cold air as high pressure builds in. We'll have sunshine today, clear, sunny, and dry tomorrow. Also lows in the 20s, highs in the mid 40s, and then we'll finally begin to see warmer weather trickling back in as winds shift and come more out of the south on Sunday, getting us up into the low 50s. Clouds building in on Sunday night, and then by Monday morning as another front moves through, we're going to have a line of rainfall moving through. Right now it looks like around drive time on Monday morning, and then by Monday afternoon the front drifts eastward a bit, but still we may have 1 or 2 isolated showers lingering into Monday afternoon. Tuesday and Wednesday, not much of a chance of any significant precipitation. I'll bump the rain chance up to about 30% for Wednesday, and to be honest with you, colder air is going to be moving back in on Wednesday, and the timing of that, of when the precipitation moves through, is going to determine whether or not we get rain or maybe even a wintry mix if some of this moves in early enough in the day. So we'll have to keep an eye on that, maybe some of it lingering on into Thursday or Wednesday night rather. By Thursday, we have cleared out and another batch of Arctic air has settled back into the Tennessee Valley. So 40 degrees for the high today, cold and dry. Tonight, clear, starry skies. We drop the low down to 23. That's in Chattanooga. It'll be in the teens in the higher elevations again on Saturday morning. And then Saturday afternoon, 45 for the high. Cold again on Sunday morning, but feels a little almost balmy on Sunday afternoon. 51, my goodness, even the mid-50s Monday and Tuesday. But rain, a good possibility for your commute on Monday morning, and then maybe some precipitation on Tuesday and Wednesday, but the rain chances a little bit lower toward the middle of next week. And then we're looking ahead to another big Arctic blast that'll move through by the middle and end of next week. So 'tis the season, y'all. It's December.
It certainly is.
I brought the flowers in last night.
Good for you.
I know
That time.
I'm just waiting. But I just wanted to prolong it just this much more.
Not the hibiscus.
The hibiscus,
You
yes.
brought it
Dan.
in?
They're in?
I brought the hibiscus inside, yes.
Well, speaking of the holidays, from Christmas trees to menorahs, 'tis the season for group photographs. But how can you make sure that the picture you're taking is a good one?
Well, it's all about the lighting. We have a trick for you if you're trying to use your cell phone to snap the perfect holiday photograph. It's the holiday season, and that means your timeline is about to be filled with well-meaning but terrible holiday photographs of your friends and family. They're blurry, washed out, and those beady red-eyed pets and children, well, they're terrifying. So with the help of my assistants, we're going to show you a quick trick to make sure your holiday photographs are refrigerator worthy. This requires at least 2 cell phones. As your friends gather in front of the tree or other holiday display, even at the old Yuletide bar, simply turn on the flashlight function on one of the cell phones and use that light to light your subjects. With the flash turned off on your other cell phone, shoot your subjects from slightly above their line of sight. That little bit of elevation forces your subject to tilt up their head, reducing the amount of gobbled neck. Make sure your light is above the camera. That should reduce any shadows. And then click. It's that simple. The proof right there in the old figgy pudding. Now, here are the 2 pictures again. You can tell that the skin tone is more natural, and of course, no red eye. So yeah, you may look a little silly taking the photo, but it's a surefire way to enhance the final picture without having to sift through an endless amount of holiday filters.
I'm just laughing because I really like it because first of all, I love there's Kristen
Kristen
there,
just
our
kinda
producer taking the picture there.
bopping
and then
around.
Of course you have Sammy and you had Kate as well.
Yeah, no, the
as
whole
your
thing.
assistants.
People randomly volunteer blindly. They just they say, hey, but the deal is that honestly, it honestly works. And you're just we're like that guy in the story was saying, your Facebook timeline is just going to be inundated with terrible pictures, and this might help a little bit.
Well, we'll see how that works because again, it's that time of year where everybody has their phone. We're trying to do our holiday pictures, but all right, we'll see how it works, John.
All right. Well, hey, a Minnesota family's Christmas light display pays tribute to the late rocker Prince.
Yeah, the Stott family is known for extravagant Christmas light displays, but this year's may top them all. You see, the family used more than 10,000 purple lights synchronized with Christmas tunes. You see, as much as they love Prince, the Stott family loves their youngest child even more. Their son Caleb had open heart surgery this year, so they decided to use this year's light show to raise money for the Ronald McDonald House. So good for them.
That is really cool.
I was just going to say the purple lights and getting into the Prince spirit there during Christmas. Coming up on Channel 3 Eyewitness News today, major cleanup is underway in Gatlinburg after wildfires scorched thousands of acres and demolished homes and businesses.
And as the town starts to rebuild, crews are assessing the total financial losses the wildfires caused in hopes of getting federal assistance to help cover the cost. We'll have that and more coming up after the break.